Welcome back. Now it's time for our tech discussion. And one of the topics that keeps popping up all over the world is this issue of renewable energy, going green, climate change. What is all this about? Now, we decided it was time for us to have a discussion with an expert. With us today, we have Chidera Ejiofor. He's a green energy discipline, and he's an advocate for working in various industries in this particular field. Real estate, electronics, tech, automobiles, all that, and alternative energy sources. It's great to have you in the building with us. Welcome.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
So this journey into renewable energy, alternate sources of power, when did this start for you?
I would say over a decade.
Okay.
And it's been a gradual process. I've been improving myself, and the world has also been improving.
Okay.
And as we can see, even industries are improving in terms of power consumption. We can see in the automobile industry, electric cars are being rolled out. So while the world is also moving ahead and Africa has been left behind, I think we've gradually started to play catch-up in Africa. And we in Africa need to now take a stand. And that is where I decided to make green energy a priority for us 6 years ago.
Okay.
And we started providing battery solutions, and I decided to move fully into green energy.
Okay. And
I think it's been a wonderful journey, seeing the effects it's had on certain lives. We've had wonderful feedbacks. We've had growth. At least in Nigeria, we've been able to touch over 1,000 households with renewable energy solutions. And this kind of movement, trust me, it's overwhelming sometimes.
I have to use that word movement. Yes. It does feel like it's been a bit slow. You mentioned a decade. A decade ago, telling someone about getting an inverter or a solar panel was like, they've come again. What is all this? You know, this is just another way to take our money. But shift a decade ahead. You have equipment in people's homes that are considered inverter friendly. You have inverter ACs, you have inverter fridge, you have all sorts of appliances that are now compliant to more renewable energy sources. Why do you think it took that long for us to make the shift?
In everything that comes with improvement and development, we like to move slow.
Okay.
And I would say finance is a very, very important thing. Finance is a very, very important thing. And we have to look at we have to look at solutions that can provide better energy consumption for us in Africa. In Europe and other continents, they've moved from the old technology when they moved from LCD to LED.
Okay.
When they moved from regular refrigerators to improved inverter refrigerators, from regular freezers to improved inverter freezers. And now, most recently in Nigeria, we've seen the influx of inverter ACs that consume less power. So we have finally realized in Nigeria that, it's better to have a long-term power solution that can ease the burden of fuel, diesel, and at the same time, the failure from the national grid. We've seen the grid collapse a couple of times in Nigeria, and people are beginning to realize, we have to have alternative energy. We have to have some source of power that noiseless, that comes from nature, and at the same time is long-term. If you have a solar panel today, it's your property for the next 100 years. So it's not just about how slow we are. It's also about the involvement of the government. This administration is the first administration that has actively pushed for an energy transition plan in Nigeria. We've seen the vice president move to have meetings with Sustainable Energy for All. We've seen the president in New York last year trying to have a meeting on energy transition. We have an energy transition plan for Nigeria. And this is wonderful, actually. I have to commend this administration. And I'm hoping the next administration can take it a step further and drive more action down.
I have to come down to the layman now, because some of the images we're seeing just now had huge solar panels on big houses. Now, the average Nigerian who is still in a flat, maybe a two-bedroom, has 4 children, work in the morning, comes back late at night. They're not really thinking that much about investing heavy amounts of money on a solar panel or an inverter, because they just, they buy their small jerry can of fuel and they put it in their I better pass my neighbor generator. So if you're having a conversation with someone like that, how would you be able to balance the skills and explain why renewable energy is a better source?
So now, you get a generator, you probably buy fuel. Let's just look at this present situation for a layman.
Okay.
You can't get cash to buy fuel.
Okay.
To get the fuel itself is a challenge.
Okay.
Then for those that run some offices and pay service charge, you have to pay for diesel. Service charge has gone up. If you look at the amount consumed in the space of 12 months to 24 months, and you look at the cost of having a system that can power whatever you need, it's relative. We have a renewable energy solution for as low as 400, 500,
okay,
thousand, and you can have a spread payment over a period of time. And you don't have to buy a generator. You have to keep spending on fuel. For instance, you want to get fuel right now, at least, if it's not even in the black market, the stress of going to the filling station, trying to fill up your 25 liters or your 30 liters, some filling stations won't even sell to you in the keg. So if you look at this, I would advise the person, average man would probably run about close to ₦1 million a year on petrol, trying to keep lights, keep the kids happy at home, trying to keep the family happy. But if you have a renewable energy solution for that same amount and you had spread your payment over a period of time, this would definitely provide the same power. Same thing goes when we're moving houses, buying appliances, or having any project in mind. We must look for renewable energy friendly appliances. Okay. You want to get a TV. Why do you want to go and get a TV from 10, 15 years ago when the energy consumption is high? You look for something that's more affordable now and it's energy friendly. So you can have your renewable energy solution power your fan, your lights, and your TV.
I'm thinking about the issue of when people move houses and move and get new appliances. Everybody really wants to get these new appliances, but they're considered very expensive. The average person goes to a warehouse somewhere in Apapa, gets some UK used products, just to make it seem like, yes, I have a new fridge, even though we know that it was used before. Yes. But it's, why would I then go and get something more expensive? Talk to me.
Okay, so to be honest, this is a long-term decision. Anyone having to make a change, move apartments, can always look to have some form of better appliance, like the refrigerators, the TVs. You can actually, this is where government comes in.
Okay.
For us to have this transition properly, we need some form of financial support, and people need to be eased into this transition. Okay. So we have tech companies now that offer pay small for appliances. You can use some of these places to try and have a long-term plan. Having a long-term plan does not require short-term action. It requires long-term action. So you can spread your action over 12 months and say, I want to move from high power consuming appliances to lower power consuming appliances, and at the same time add a renewable energy solution. You can have things where you can have a payment plan spread across 12 months, 6 months. We can see the inflow of loan companies. We can see the inflow of companies advising people to buy products and pay small. Same way you also in solar, we also have a payment plan for people that work in corporate organizations that are well registered, and we can allow them ease gradually.
So this is here to stay?
It's here to stay.
It's not something that's just in vogue right now and might change later?
If we say something in vogue and something might change later, this is renewable. This is energy gotten from our natural resource.
Okay. The sun.
It's here to stay. If you have countries like France and UK trying to roll out electric cars, then that means it's here to stay.
Honestly, there's another question I have for you. We're going to be heading into the kitchen right now to take a bite. But I have to ask, this issue of global warming.
Yes.
It does feel like we as Nigerians might not understand how it actually affects us. How does that affect us directly? Global warming.
This breakfast is quite distracting, I must confess.
Please go ahead.
So we're done?
Go ahead. You heard the question I asked.
Yes. So
how does it affect?
Global warming has an effect on us in Africa, where we have flood, we have the drought, and if you look at the ice age abroad has been melting.
Eventually,
it would come down to Africa and have effects on our citizens, and we would not have any planet in the next 100 years if we don't move away from fossil fuel. So this is the reality that we must actually face. Oh, this looks nice.
you're so distracted by the food, you're not even remembering
Oh, yes.
what we're talking about.